Fucking.
So we have a 10-place timer game between Belmont on my left and Kinkaid on my right. My name's Ron Carson. I'll be reading. Both teams ready to begin?
Yes.
Good luck.
Luck.
Good luck.
Good luck to both teams. We'll start with toss number one. This figure wears all gold in a Francesco Allegrini painting titled for him in the Fitzwilliam Museum. UNESCO director George Salles renamed Pablo Picasso's gigantic mural, The Forces of Life and the Spirit Triumphing Over Evil, after this character. In a painting titled for this figure, a sword and wallet on the ground illustrate a proverb. A fortified Crete may be depicted in the background of a painting titled for this character, in which a shepherd on a cliff stares up at the sky.
Don Quixote.
What?
Don Quixote.
No. At the sky. In that painting, this figure's legs are visible splashing near a ship in the bottom right. For 10 points, a landscape by Peter Bruegel the Elder is set after the fall of what character?
Icarus.
Correct.
Nice.
Icarus is correct. And bonus, answer the following about horror stories involving beds for 10 points each. This British author of the novella Coraline described a boy abducted by Click-Clack the Rattlebug as he walks to bed. His recently adapted books include The Sandman and American Gods.
Yes,
Gaiman, yeah. Gaiman?
Yes. In a story by this author, a gambler narrowly avoids being smothered by a bed canopy contraption. Godfrey Ablewhite is murdered by a group of priests for stealing the title gem of a novel by this Victorian author.
Okay, so no title gem. I mean, it's not Collins.
The diamond.
Yes.
Collins.
Yeah.
Nice.
Goldilocks gets caught after sleeping in a bed that's just right in a short story originally by this author. This British poet laureate from 1813 to 1843 wrote the poem After Blenheim.
So it's not Tennessee. It's before. Who is before?
Answer, please.
Masters.
Robert Southey. 20 on the bonus.
Let's keep going.
Toss-up 2. An alliance in this war stopped a side from retaking Credit Island. A side in this war urged to remember the River Raisin. The Adams was captured following a siege during this war in which William Hull's forces were defeated. A battle in this war became the subject of a slogan beginning Rumpsy Dumpsy that was used by Richard Mentor Johnson.
So the War of 1812.
20 points. Rumpsy Dumpsy, Johnson killed Tecumseh. Here is your bonus. A lute played by Senegambian peoples called the akonting is often cited as the closest relative of this instrument. For 10 points each, name this string instrument whose tenor variety was popular in Dixieland jazz. It sometimes features a fifth thumb string and is often played with finger picks.
Banjo.
Is correct. Dixieland banjoist Johnny St. Cyr was a member of this all-star group of musicians who accompanied Jelly Roll Morton on his seminal recordings of Dr. Jazz and Black Bottom Stomp.
Do you know?
Answer.
The A team.
These are the Red Hot Peppers.
Oh.
Derivatives of Dixieland called trad jazz and skiffle were developed in this country, where they later influenced bands like the Beatles.
UK.
Yes, 20 points. Toss-up 3. A holiday named for this practice is followed by a kissing ritual practiced by Balinese youths the next day. That holiday is Nyepi. Every July 10th, Meher Baba's followers observe this practice, which is also performed by Muni sages who adhere to Mauna. Alms seekers carrying metal-ringed kakara staffs observe...
Begging?
Nope.
That's right.
Observe this practice. It's not breathing, but constant adherence to this practice is mandatory for prison inmates who are self-reflecting during a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. Unprogrammed Quaker worship involves waiting, praying, and adhering to this practice, whose non-reproductive vows are obeyed by Carthusian monks. This word names towers used for Zoroastrian sky burials. For 10 points, some Buddhist monks perform what practice by refraining from speech?
Being silent.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Your bonus, it took 50 years for a version of this 1954 TV drama to appear on Broadway. 10 points each, identify this courtroom drama adapted by Sidney Lumet into a 1957 feature film in which the eighth member of the title group buys a knife at a pawn shop to disprove the argument that another knife is unique.
12 Angry Men.
Yes. A long lost recording of the original 12 Angry Men broadcast was found in the house of lawyer Samuel Leibowitz, who is best known for defending this group of 9 black teenagers who were accused of raping 2 women in Alabama in 1931.
Catonsville Men.
What was that?
Catonsville Men.
These are the Scottsboro Boys.
Oh my god.
An all-comedians staging of 12 Angry Men took place in 2003 at this city's Fringe Festival. Its real-life crime includes the Burke and Hare murders.
That's in Edinburgh, right? Edinburgh?
20 points.
Sorry, we should have 3.
Also 4. This author describes a boy born in a room covered in silver fabric in a fictional novel by Liza Dalby. In a translation by Edward Seidensticker, a character created by this author imagines plucking a wild little plant before his wife is murdered by a living phantom. A protagonist created by this author exchanges poems with a married woman named Cicada who refuses to have an affair. This author is named for purple wisteria flowers, which also named a kidnapped girl from the Fujitsubo family.
Murasaki.
Yes, Lady Murasaki, 10 points.
Good job.
Your bonus, the morpho species of these animals display structural blue color. 10 points each. Name these animals that create vivid blues and greens by reflecting light off nano-patterned chitinous scales. Alternatively, their viceroy and monarch species are just pigmented by melanin.
Butterflies.
That's correct. Butterflies can change color by thickening this reflective surface at the bottom of the wing. The type 5 intermediate filaments that support the inner nuclear membrane are named for these thin layers that support epithelia.
Meninges, right? Meninges.
These are lamina.
Sorry.
Structural color thus provides a genetic basis for both Batesian mimicry and this more honest form of mimicry, exemplified by monarchs and viceroys.
Malarian.
Malarian's correct for 20.
Good job.
Toss 5. EU money destined for small businesses in this industry was at the center of a 2023 corruption case against former Czech PM Andrej Babi. Post-Brexit UK governments have adopted the public money for public goods policy towards this industry to replace massive EU cap subsidies. A deal allowing exports from this industry was ended in July 2023 with missile strikes on the port of Odessa. In 2019, new emission standards led Dutch workers in this profession to slowly drive heavy equipment to The Hague. The Seralini affair intensified pressure for EU officials to ban a product in this industry.
Agriculture.
Is correct for 10. Your bonus. This disease likely killed 5 popes between 1492 and 1623. For 10 points each, identify this disease that also killed 6 of the cardinals who picked Pope Gregory XV's successor. The Jesuits brought knowledge of quinine to fight this mosquito-borne disease.
Malaria.
Malaria is correct, but this pope might have died from malaria after an event chronicled in Johann Burckhardt's Liber Notarum. This pope had dozens of Roman homes razed in preparation for the Jubilee year 1500.
Who's the Pope?
Do you want to just say Gregory?
Sure.
Gregory?
Alexander VI, who's the banker of the chestnuts in the first part there. This man may have died of malaria after refusing a quinine treatment because it was Jesuits' powder. This man took his title after the dissolution of the Barebones Parliament.
Oh, wait. Took power after Barebones? I don't know. Charles. Oh, wait.
Answer.
Cromwell?
Cromwell.
Yes. 20 points. Toss up 6. A sequence assembly strategy based on these data structures that has supplanted the overlap layout consensus strategy involves placing k-mers into a type of these structures named for De Bruyne. Reachability is preserved by the transitive reduction of a type of these structures that can be topologically sorted because they have properties abbreviated DA in a 3-letter acronym. Causal relationships are typically stored in a directed one of these structures.
Graph.
Graph is correct for 10.
Good job.
Your bonus, Benjamin Franklin spread a teaspoon of oil over a pond to create one of these physical structures. 10 points each. Oil spilled on water exemplifies what thin monolayers whose namesake interference causes iridescence.
I'll spill my water.
Answer.
Immiscible.
These are thin films.
Oh.
A chemist in this family built on Franklin's work to construct the first Langmuir-Blodgett trough. Another scientist in this family names the effect by which a material's index of refraction varies linearly with the electric field, which is similar to the Kerr effect.
Okay.
Pockles.
Is correct. The Pockels point is the minimum for this quantity for a molecule in a film. Surface tension equals interfacial free energy divided by this quantity.
Surface tension.
Answer.
Gibbs free energy.
Surface area.
Oh, why is that?
10 on the bonus.
Wake up.
Awesome 7. Holders of this title were figureheads and lacked Habesha advisors during the era of princes.
Like kings of Ethiopia.
I can accept that. Good, bud.
So free.
Your bonus, this artist depicted her slow recovery from a miscarriage in the painting Henry Ford Hospital. 10 points each. Named this Mexican surrealist whose many self-portraits with hummingbirds and monkeys were painted at the Casa Azul.
Kala?
Yes. After a Portuguese referendum, Paula Rigo used this medium to paint a series of women seeking out abortions. Crayons are a wax type of this medium, which also comes in soft chalk types.
Pastel.
Oh, yeah. Go for it, I guess. I don't know.
Pastel.
Is correct.
Nice.
In 1985, this artist organized over 150 different artists to create a massive artwork called the Birth Project. The Elizabeth A. Sackler Center exhibits a triangular art installation by this artist.
Chicago.
30 points.
Good baby.
Come on. Toss of 8. Excuse me. A film by this director includes a close-up of a woman's hand moving across the frame while closing a pair of scissors and ends with the protagonist painting his face blue and blowing himself up with dynamite. In another film by this director, the protagonist's final word, which translates to puke, confuses his love interest. Several of this director's films, such as Band of Outsiders and Alphaville, starred his first wife, Anna Karina.
Tarkovsky.
Nice. Not nice. all the way through the weekend until now. In a film by this man, a criminal hides in the Parisian apartment of a woman who sells the New York Herald Tribune. That 1960 film by this director stars Jean-Paul Belmondo as the Humphrey Bogart imitating criminal Michel. For 10 points, name this French New Wave director of Breathless.
Jean-Luc Godard.
Godard is correct. 10 points and your bonus. This author noted that the biblically inspired tapestries at Hampton Court Palace's Great Hall were a good deal faded in the posthumous travelogue English notebooks. 10 points each. Name this author who described tapestries that were still unfaded in his best-known novel. The first chapter of that novel by this author contrasts a rose bush with a prison door made of oak.
Oh.
Answer.
Milton.
It's Nathaniel Hawthorne. In this Hawthorne novel, tapestries depicting David and Bathsheba appear in the apartment of the minister Arthur Dimmesdale, the father of Pearl.
Scarlet Letter.
Yes. Hawthorne claims that the reader would not want to look at the wrong side of the tapestry in the last chapter of this novel, which he was forced to add in order to explain what happens to characters like Hilda and the sculptor Kenyon.
Oh. Silver Fawn.
Okay.
Or Marble Fawn. Right?
Yes, 20 points. Good.
Good job.
I don't know.
It was.
Awesome. 9. Lena Haldanius reads this thinker's character of Jemima as a critique of private property and places this thinker within the tradition of neo-Roman republicanism. Before Thomas Paine, this thinker identified liberty as non-domination and imagined dividing up large estates in a pamphlet responding to Edmund Burke's Reflections. A treatise by this thinker derides advantageous marriages as legal prostitution, arguing instead for friendship among equals. That 1792 treatise by this thinker attacks the portrayal of Sophie in Rousseau's Émile and details a program of national education open to women.
Wollstonecraft.
Is correct. Your bonus. Ipek Chalishlar was tried for insulting the memory of this man after publishing a book that credits Latife Hanım with many of his achievements. For 10 points each, name this founder of the Republic of Turkey whose government promoted women's role models like beauty pageant winner Feriha Tevfik.
Ataturk.
Yes. In expanding Turkish women's rights, Ataturk borrowed heavily from this country's civil code. A 1923 treaty signed in this country legitimized Turkey's existence.
France.
Switzerland.
Oh, Lausanne, not Sevres. I'm
Yes.
stupid.
Latif Hanım used her influence as the daughter of a wealthy trader from this city to protest the Young Turks. Many Greeks and Armenians were killed when the Turks burned this city in 1922.
Smyrna.
Is correct.
Oh my god. I can
20
do
points
it.
on the bonus. Toss up 10, after which we will have a halftime score check. Mary McCarthy first coined a term about this author in a review of the fashion magazine Flair. This author parodied a verse from Ecclesiastes to compare insincerity to a cuttlefish spurting out ink. In an essay, this author imagines some dying hack on a platform repeating the phrase stand shoulder to shoulder and other dying metaphors instead of other terms that have avoidable ugliness. This author advised never use a long word where a short one will do in his essay, Politics and the English Language.
Orwell.
Is correct.
It was.
Mary McCarthy apparently coined the term Orwellian.
Nice.
Your bonus speakers of this language are known for cooking a national dish called tiboudienne. 10 points each. Name this non-French language.
Wolof?
That is the source. Yes. The term jollof is also used to refer to a dish of this grain, predominantly grown in paddies in East Asia.
Rice.
That's correct. Some contenders in West Africa's so-called jollof wars for best jollof dish utilize shito, a pepper sauce whose fish are sourced from this body of water. Dodi Island is in this body of water, which was constructed with financing from Kaiser Aluminum.
Lake Volta.
Yeah.
Lake Volta.
30 points.
30.
And that 5 score of Belmont 150, Kinkaid 180.
Let's do this, guys.
Going good. That wasn't very good.
That was good.
Focus on current
I would have married this.
Both teams are ready to continue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Good luck, everyone.
Yep.
Presumably possible left. 2 answers required. Mainstream society upholds an ideal based on one of these 2 traits that suppresses the talent of people with the other, according to a 2012 book by Susan Cain. These 2 traits arise due to indifferences in arousal of the ARAS pathway in a theory by Hans Eysenck, who grouped their axis with psychoticism and neuroticism. These 2 traits were coined to describe attentiveness to subjective needs in Carl Jung's personality types. The axis corresponding to these 2 opposite traits is the E in the ocean model. These 2 traits are the options.
Introversion and extroversion.
Devils.
Yes.
Your bonus. This mountain range's myths include a belly slitter who stuffs straw, rocks, and splintered glass into the abdomens of the lazy. 10 points each. Name this mountain range that's legendarily home to a cat-headed worm and a horned sackman who delights in whipping bad children with birch rods.
Oh, Urals. Urals?
The Alps.
Oh, shit.
Frau Perkta, the belly slitter, takes interest in girls who refuse to perform this chore with flax. Rumpelstiltskin turns straw into gold through this action.
Spinning.
Yes. Frau Perkta emerges during this multi-day period, whose final day is the eve before Epiphany and the Magi's arrival. Blackbirds are likely the calling birds mentioned in a popular song titled for this period.
Oh. Wait, no, the 12 Days of Christmas.
That's correct. 20 points.
It's
Orchard Poetry.
It is indeed tied. Also 12, a character notes the ebon blackness of this location's floors and phantasmagoric armorial trophies that he recognizes from his infancy. The narrator feels a sense of insufferable gloom upon first seeing this location. A resident of this location has a morbid acuteness of the senses, which causes his eyes to be tortured by even a faint light.
The House of Usher.
Is correct for 20.
I did read them.
Your bonus. Muirhead's inequality generalizes this inequality that gives that the cube in Hoffman's packing puzzle has enough volume to fit all of the pieces. 10 points each. Name this inequality that generalizes the statement that twice the square root of a times b is bounded above by a plus b.
Twice. Oh, AMGM directed.
Yes. The AMGM inequality can be proven via Jensen's inequality, which applies to functions with this property, the opposite of concave.
Convex.
Yes. This mean, the reciprocal of the arithmetic mean of the reciprocals, is bounded above by the aforementioned means. This mean shares its name with a series that sums the reciprocals of the positive integers.
Harmonic.
30 points.
Oh wait, what was the answer to that test? Like, what was the answer?
The House of Usher.
I thought over acuteness of senses was a different story. Like, isn't that Total Heart? I don't know.
Poe's stories share
No.
themes.
Yeah, that's okay. Good was there. Yeah.
Also 13. Cancer cells in these structures are detected by sentinel biopsies. Trypanosomes enlarge the jugulo-digastric type of these structures in Winterbottom's sign. As centroblasts pass into these structures' dark zones, cytidine deaminase rapidly mutates their cell surface receptors. In TNM staging, cancer cells invade these structures, then metastasize. Fluid enters these structures through an afferent vessel and drains out of a subcapsular sinus. Germinal centers in these structures and the spleen are the site of...
Like the lymph nodes.
Lymph nodes is correct.
Nice.
Your bonus, this practice can backfire when a rush to cover borrowed stock causes prices to shoot up in a namesake kind of squeeze. 10 points each. Name this practice of borrowing stock with the expectation that it will decrease in price.
Short
Michael
selling.
Berry made a windfall doing this action to securities backed by subprime mortgages in 2007.
Short
Shorting.
selling.
Yes, shorting or short selling. Users of the Wall Street Bets subreddit conspired to cause a short squeeze for this declining video game retailer in 2021.
GameStop.
That's correct. Market suppliers, not traders, can induce a gamma squeeze, where gamma measures this property for an option. This property can be measured by the standard deviation of the returns on an asset.
ROI.
You can say
ROI.
Volatility. 20 on the bonus. Here's toss of 14. Description acceptable. Babylonian instructions for engaging in a type of this activity were deciphered by Irving Finkel and are similar to those used by Jews in Kochi, India as late as the 1950s. Calligraphy, painting, playing an instrument, and engaging in a form of this activity constitute China's four cultivated arts. An object for engaging in this activity with elaborate inlaid red limestone was excavated by Leonard Woolley at Ur.
Hunting?
No.
Shit, that's my thing.
An ancient Egyptian form of this activity was called senet. A Japanese school for a type of this activity originated the Dan ranking system. In 1972, Boris Spassky was defeated in a form of this activity in the match of the century against Bobby Fischer. For 10 points, name this activity that might involve a go board.
Playing a board game.
Yes. 10 points. Okay, here's your bonus. This novel's protagonist reflects how we brought you the truth, and in our mouths it sounded like a lie. For 10 points each, name this novel which highlighted the crimes of the party. This novel was intended as the middle part of a trilogy on political corruption, along with The Gladiators and Arrival and Departure.
Wait, Darkness at Noon directed.
Is correct. Description acceptable. In Darkness at Noon, Rubashov communicates with number 402 in this way. Another novel's protagonist meets the Abbe Faria in the Chateau d'If by communicating in this fashion.
Tapping on the wall.
Yes. Darkness at Noon was written by this Hungarian author.
Cluster.
Kessler for 30.
Good job.
Also 15. A metaphor about this animal titles a collection of songs that includes Der Doppelganger. A movement titled for this animal begins with the descending notes G, F sharp, B, and E, D, G. One composer called seeing 16 of these animals one of his greatest experiences.
Swan.
20 points.
Nice. Swan redemption.
Your bonus, a 2019 book by Victoria Bateman argues that the rise of the West was largely due to the West's comparatively better treatment of these title people. 10 points each. Identify this group of people who were said to hold up half the sky by Mao Zedong.
Women?
Yes. Another rise of the West thesis is that this technology made the difference. These weapons title a book, along with Germs and Steel by Jane
Guns.
Diamond. Yes. This historian argued that the poor fisheries of the Mediterranean Sea encouraged long-distance trade, fueling the Great Divergence. This French historian of the Annales School wrote Civilization and Capitalism.
French historian.
No.
Oui.
Answer.
Kruger.
It was Fernand Braudel. 20 on the bonus. The 3/4 mark, I have Belmont 250, Kinkaid 270.
Lock it.
we got this.
Wait, I have a 260. It's 220 after 12. We have
Let's go
270.
here.
230 after 12.
A power 12.
Oh, okay.
No.
Which one? Oh, the house. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Cool.
I'll clear 250, 270?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
16, good luck. In Theophilus' account, this figure is cursed to be consumed by the children born from an incestuous relationship with phalanx. A sprinkle of Hecate's herb juice costs this figure's hair, nose, and ears. This child of Idmon nearly dies by hanging after being beaten thrice on the head. A crone dramatically proclaims she is here when unmasking her divine visage in front of this boastful figure, who creates a blasphemous work of art recalling how the gods transform. Arachne is pronounced. Your bonus. If you include the coal used by the furnace, the synthesis of this binary ionic compound alone causes 8% of global carbon emissions. 10 points each. Name this major component of cement that's made by baking limestone in a kiln until it releases a molecule of CO2. A chemical formula alone is acceptable.
Clinker?
No, this is calcium oxide or quicklime or wormlime.
Oh, quicklime.
Green chemists prefer geopolymer cements made from the oxides of these two elements since they don't emit stoichiometric CO2. Most zeolites are oxides of these two elements.
Aluminum and
Okay.
aluminum titanium.
Aluminum and silicon. Instead of a furnace, geopolymer cements are made by simply treating aluminosilicate materials with a strong one of these chemicals, such as sodium or potassium hydroxide.
Base.
Yes, 10 points.
It's fine.
Toss 17. The papal bull Industriae Tuae allowed for a predecessor of this system developed under the encouragement of Prince Rostislav. A May 24th holiday celebrating the creation of this system is sometimes known as the Day of the Solon Brothers. The engineer Kulenbach inspired a civil reform to this system under Peter the Great that eliminated the use.
The Cyrillic alphabet.
20 points.
I'm not Russian, so I can't buzz on that shit.
I am Russian, so I can buzz on that
I feel
shit.
like the odds are stacked against us.
Your bonus. This post is assigned after a blindfolded child randomly picks one of 3 cards within a crystal chalice. 10 points each. Tawadros II holds what post?
Oh.
Considered to be St. Mark's spiritual successor.
Pope of the Coptic Orthodox Church.
Yes. A regent must be appointed within this many days after the Coptic Pope's death. After creating the world, God rested on the day of this number.
7.
Yes. Both clergy and people known by this English term are allowed to attend the Grand Assembly where the 3 names are chosen by lot. This term refers to any non-ordained individual, including preachers and congregants.
Layman.
Yeah.
You're just
Good.
30 points.
Nice.
Let's go.
Toss 18. The presence of a nonlinear form of this phenomenon motivates the use of the BBM equation instead of the Korteweg-de Vries equation, which describes this phenomenon with its third spatial derivative term. Solitons and deep water waves respectively exhibit amplitude and frequency forms of this phenomenon. The angular frequency is written as a function of the wave number in this phenomenon's namesake relations. This phenomenon blurs high contrast areas in a chromatic aberration.
Dispersion.
Is correct for 10.
That's right.
We're in this.
Your bonus, Quintus Ennius, is said to have brought this meter to Latin poetry. 10 points each. Name this meter that contains 6 feet, consisting of a long syllable followed by 2 short syllables or 2 long syllables in every line of poetry. Later authors like Virgil used this meter in his Aeneid.
Dactyl. Oh wait, no. Okay.
Answer.
Dactylic hexameter.
What's your answer?
Dactylic hexameter.
Yes. Ennius wrote a lost poem praising this historical person. In the 6th book of his De Re Publica, Cicero wrote an influential passage about the dream of this person, in which he sees the music of the spheres.
Pythagoras.
Scipio. Ennius often used this rhetorical device characterized by the repetition of initial letters or sounds in neighboring words, as in the line, O tite tute, tati tibi tanta tirane tu listi.
Alliteration.
Yes, 20 points.
Okay, time it.
Absolutely. Going into toss of 19, I have Belmont 300, Kinkaid 320. Belmont is called timeout.
Can I just quickly check the post thing? I'm so sorry.
Did you want to protest that?
I mean,
Or do you wanna-
I guess just in case.
You can just do this.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
One more.
All right.
2 seconds.
Okay, everyone ready to continue?
Yes.
Am I good?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. Good on the score, 300, 320. Toss of 19. In a poem by this author, the faces of beasts cause humans who set traps for freedom to see the unobstructed world. This poet described an image that plunges into the heart and is gone in a poem about an animal with a paralyzed will making a ritual.
Ruka.
20 points.
Okay. He woke up. Let's go.
Kinkaid, your bonus. A facility at Stanford called Karma pioneered the frequency modulation method used by these instruments, such as the Yamaha DX7. 10 points each. Name these musical instruments. Wendy Carlos arranged air on the G string for this instrument on her 1968 album Switched on Bach.
Synthesizer.
That's correct. A composer with his first name and the surname Chowning discovered FM synthesis and founded Karma. Another composer with his first name wrote Music of Changes and 4 minutes 33 seconds.
Oh, it's just John.
John.
John is correct. Chowning played this composer a piece that uses FM synthesis during his 1972 residency at Stanford. This developer of micropolyphony wrote the anti-opera Le Grand Macabre.
Said Steve Frank.
I was gonna say Xenakis. Oh, sure.
No, say Xenakis.
Ligeti.
So to confirm, the score is 360, 300.
Correct.
Okay. Is that long?
Yes.
And
Okay, let's go.
the last toss up. Cadmium telluride undergoes this process in a close space, then diffusion and epitaxy to make photovoltaic thin films. Drugs are stabilized by a form of this process that pumps out H2O using a lyophilizer. The energy of this process plus ionization is a...
Like freezing? What? Slash
No. Plus ionization is a metal's contribution to a Born-Haber cycle. Caffeine purified by this process is scooped off an overhead cold finger. Cryogenic CO2 absorbs heat by undergoing this process at negative 78 degrees Celsius. The heat of this process equals the heat of fusion plus heat of vaporization at the triple point. At room temperature, naphthalene and dry ice undergo this process, the reverse of deposition. For 10 points, name this phase change from a solid to a gas.
Sublimation.
Yes. And Belmont, your bonus. Members of this ethnicity make up most of the Alaskeros in the Alaska canning industry, although laborers of this ethnicity were reclassified as aliens after the Tidings-McDuffie Act. 10 points each. Name this ethnicity of individuals who send Balik Bayan boxes to their country of ancestry.
Filipinos.
American colonialism has led many people of this ethnicity to work on ships or as nurses.
Filipinos.
Yes. Filipino workers organized by Larry Itliong and Philip Vera Cruz joined Mexican agricultural workers in a 5-year-long grape strike in this city.
Delano.
What?
Delano.
Sure.
Delano.
Good.
Nice.
The United Farm Workers Union was formed by a merger of Filipino laborers and Mexican laborers led by this man and Dolores Huerta. Huerta coined the phrase "Si se puede" during a public fast by this man.
Chavez.
Chavez is correct. 30 of the final score. Belmont 340, Kinkaid 360. Excellent game, both
Double
teams.
G.